Hey there, homebrewers. William, Firebrew TV and the Firehouse Beer Works. And if you watched my short video yesterday, you'll know that the package from the SJ Porr Brew Challenge made its way to my doorstep yesterday. Yes, it came. And I'm happy to report that after opening the package and close inspection, everything is just fine. All the beers were intact, no breakage. Doesn't appear to be any problems. And as we speak, all those brews are sitting safe and sound in my brew fridge. So, brew reviews coming up in the next few days. So be watching for that. What I thought I'd do tonight is share with you just who's on my list. I'm not sure if the ones that I got are the same people that everybody else is getting. So what I want to make sure is that if you're on my list, then you'll know that I'll be doing a beer review for your beer. So here's the manifest that I got from Clement's Homebrew. And by the way, big shout out to the Clement's Homebrew guys for the packing job that they did and the work that they did in being that West Coast hub and shipping everything back out. Takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to make sure that that everything makes the big trek back across the country from the West Coast back over to the East Coast. And also to SJ Porr for really getting this going and having the thought of having the SJ Porr Brew Challenge, and also being that East Coast hub as well. So anyway, here is the list. Here's who I have on my list. I've gone through them, and everyone has been checked and double checked. So you are actually here. And on my list, I have Kevin Clements, Too Far Gone Brewing, Lance Meyer, Short Circuit Brewing, Tyler Everson, Everdy Homebrew, Kirk Sexton, the Praying Monk Brewery, and Ian Mewini, also known as Super Spac. I think that's his YouTube channel handle. And then Josh Hoover, the Hoover Homebrews. You're on my list. Stephen Porr, Little Face Brewing. That's our control beer from SJ Porr. And Joe Belcher, Monster Sheba Brewing Company. And then M. Brad Alford, Wild Boys Brewery, also known as Puka NC. James Longo, Mr. Sparty 1995. Matt Moore, 1598 James M. I may have not said that right. And Nathan Ouellette, Troy City Brewing. Larry Lentz, this is the Old Raspberry Ale, that's from Larmo 22. And Jeremy Buczek, JD Buczek 1. And Ben from Hokey Homebrew. So that's the list. If you're on there, then as we sit here tonight, your brews are chilling in my brew fridge, and we'll be doing the brew reviews coming up in the next few days. Now, I think I mentioned this already, maybe, but I decided, no, maybe I didn't. That might have been in the video that didn't make it. Anyway, what I decided to do is get everything in the refrigerator and let it sit and let it settle. Therefore, letting all the beers have a chance to settle back down, and from the trauma of their trek across the country over the last few days, given the heat and then whatever else that our friends from the UPS put them through, and just have the opportunity to make sure that maybe we don't have any gushers come out. So what I'm going to probably do is wait till at least next week, probably the earliest Monday, maybe probably more like Tuesday, but sometime next week is probably when I'm going to start my beer reviews, and just to let everything have an opportunity to settle down. So when I say that, just so that you have a little bit of an idea of what I'm planning to do, and that you aren't too impatient and or think that I've forgotten. It's just a matter of I want to have the opportunity for everything to settle down. Now, next thing I want to talk about is this right here. This is what I'm drinking tonight, and actually, for those of you participating in the Brew experiment, if you received a entry from Brew TV, this is it right here. And this is the little offender. This is the one that's been setting the S.J. Porr Brew experiment. This one's been causing all the trouble. And yeah, I've seen a couple reviews for my beer, and to say that they've been quite explosive is a little bit of an understatement. But what I want to show you tonight is this is that same beer that you've been getting with a head up to here. This is that same beer coming out of the keg. This is what I sent to you, essentially. And as you can see, it's sitting right here in the glass and very mild-mannered. Not doing anything, no explosive head or anything like that. And actually, all of you have been very kind. The ones that have given some reviews, you've been very kind, and I appreciate the kind words that you've given, and I apologize for the problems that you've had with my beer. But this is essentially what I sent to you. This came right off the keg just a little bit ago, right before I came in to do this video. And as you can see, I can swirl it, and it's not hardly, it's carbonated, but it doesn't really, it's not really keeping much of a head. Here's what I think happened. I bottled it straight off of the keg using my beer gun, and I think I was having some trouble with it that night, and it was leaking, and I had some issues with it there. But I really think I overcarbed it when I put it into the bottles. So, and I didn't write this down. Went back through my notes, but I didn't write down what I kegged or what I bottled it at. Excuse me. But I'm wanting to think it was. I probably had my pressure set between about 7 and 8. Right about in that area. So I think that when I bottled it, I overcarbed it in that respect. So that's probably where some of that extra pressure came from. And then of course, traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast and then back to wherever you are, that probably didn't do it any good either. But this is it. This is the one that seems to be causing the trouble and causing a lot of you guys a little consternation when you do your beer reviews. Now, talk a little bit about the review and a little bit about the beer. I agree with what most of you have been saying about this beer in particular, that it's really sweet, and when you would say it's sweet, and the same thing I was saying is that it's supposed to be a pepper beer, so it's supposed to have heat to it, and I really wasn't getting a lot of heat. I was getting a lot more sweet. So I've done a little more experimenting with this, and when I say this is the same beer that I kegged to you, well, it is in certain respects, but I've done a little experimenting with it since then. What I did is I went in and made a pepper tea where I took some peppers, some dried peppers that I had left over, and I boiled them. I ground them up in my coffee grinder, and then boiled some water with the peppers in it, and then cooled it, and then added that to the keg, and then let that sit for a day, and tried it, and that amped the heat up a little bit. So I did it again. And then when I did it the second time, that really brought into balance, or it seemed to me, brought into the balance the heat with the sweetness. Still on the sweet side, I think, but you're getting a lot more heat. So when I take a drink of this, I get that right back here. And so, you know, it's really made the beer a lot better, more of a little bit of kick to it, a little more heat. So, you know, it's still got that sweet finish to it. Still quite, you know, still has that flavor to it. But then the peppers are coming out more in it. So I think next time what I do is when I make this, what I did the last time is I dry hopped the peppers. What I think I'm going to do the next time is I'm going to put the peppers, or part of the peppers, in at the last 5 to 10 minutes of the boil. And then take the remainder and dry hop it. And we'll see what that does. So, you know, that's a little background for you on my submission that I made. And I'll give you guys a recipe. I can send it out to you if you like. Basically, mine came, the grain bill and everything on it essentially was SJ's directions. I used the Maris Otter. I had 4 pounds of that, 4 pounds of 2-row English, 2 pounds of wheat malt, a pound of Crystal. I did a pound of oats. And then this is where I kind of took over with it, and I used 2 pounds of smoked malt, and then 4 pounds of Pilsner malt. Now I used Pilsner malt because that's what I had. You know, I just happened to have it there, and I wanted to kind of have a lighter color beer. And then my hops, I used an ounce of Palisades, and then an ounce of Crystal hops. And let's see, I did my hop schedule was a 1 ounce starting in at 60 minutes into the boil, or 60 minutes, so basically at the start of the boil. And then I did 3/4 of an ounce of the Crystal at 15 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the boil I did a 1/4 ounce of the Crystal. And then of course, as I said, you know, I added all the chilies in the dry hopping. I used California ale yeast, and my peppers. I used 6 smoked chipotle peppers, which are essentially jalapeno peppers, and put those in the secondary. After halfway through the recipe, I sourced up some dried red chilies, just some, you know, standard chili peppers, and put those in too. So I just put a handful of them in there. I didn't really count how many I put in. So that added a second set of peppers in it. And so my grain bill ended up being 18 pounds. And then of course you said the hops and the Crystal. I may do some different hops, maybe even add a little bit more, so maybe get a little bit more hop bittering. So that'd be kind of what I would play with that beer with. So I thought that maybe that might be a little interest to you. Certainly when you look at this beer now, I think some of you have noted that it was cloudy, and that a lot of that kind of comes from the wheat. But as you can see from here, you know, this one coming out of the keg, it's fairly clear, and you know, the aroma that I get off of it, you know, you definitely smell the peppers, especially now that I added that pepper tea addition to it, but you still get you're getting a lot of the flavors, or the aroma from the grains, especially from the smoked malt and the Maris Otter. And I think that's where a lot of that sweetness comes from too, is with the Maris Otter. So, you know, and where I kind of came up with the recipe is, you know, I took the stuff that SJ said that he wanted in there, and why I did a pepper beer. Well, I had peppers and wanted to make another one, and this was pretty close to a recipe that I'd used before. So, you know, I just said, you know, what the hell, you know, try it and see what happens. You know, it's just beer, and the worst thing you can do is pour it out. So, again, this is it, and you know, that's kind of the recipe, and there was the method to the madness. And hopefully you've enjoyed it somewhat. I hate that it was quite an explosive experience for some of you. Maybe some of the rest of you, if you let this one sit a little bit and settle, maybe you won't have quite the same experience with it. But again, cheers. Hope everybody's having a great day. continue brewing beer, and we'll look forward to some reviews. And tune in next week. I'll probably have the first of the S.J. Porr brew reviews coming up. So I'm done for now, and you've been watching Fire Brew TV, and have a great night. Cheers.